The Garamantians were an ancient civilization based primarily in the Fezzan region in present-day Libya. They most likely descended from Iron Age Berber tribes from the Sahara. Little remains of their civilization, as their epigraphy is nearly indecipherable, and much of what is known comes from our highly reliable, non-biased and completely authentic Western Roman Empire accounts. The Garamantians emerged as a major regional power in the mid-2nd century, establishing a kingdom that spanned roughly 180,000 square kilometers.
That's quite big.
Their growth and expansion
Impressive.
rested on a complex and extensive irrigation system, which supported a strong agricultural economy and a large population. They subsequently developed the first urban society in a major desert that was not centered on a river system. Their largest town, Karama, had a population of around 4,000, with an additional 6,000 living in surrounding suburban areas. At its height, the Garamantian kingdom enjoyed a standard of living far superior to any other ancient Saharan society. The Garamantians annexed and dominated surrounding tribes and relied heavily on enslaved people for their prosperity. Whoa. Wait a minute. Relied heavily on enslaved people for their... No. This is not gonna... No. The emperor is not pleased by that. Nobody does slavery. Nobody does slavery except the Western Roman Empire. And they are not technically slaves. They are just indentured servants working for 0 soldati per hour. But yeah, no, this is not gonna stand. We already destroyed one of their main cities, so they can't farm, so we have completely destroyed their food system. That is going to make sure that their enemies are very weak, and we are going to break them today because they decided to come and besiege us. So we are going to break out of this siege. The emperor is going to go and destroy this army. These willy-nilly slave societies, no, this is not going to stand. The emperor will not stand for it. I mean, his chief slave is going to be very, very depressed when he hears about this. And of course, yeah, the Western Roman separatists have reared their ugly heads again, so that's important. Right. So yeah, back in Mediolanum, a group of delinquent officers have decided to seize the throne. Yeah, and the very much reduced tier 1 garrison of Mediolanum is going to rise to the occasion once again. That's what we do, boys. Western Roman Empire, there we go. Our heroic scout equities and their companion infantry shall fly from one trouble spot to the next, extinguishing this most dangerous foe to the nether regions of Hades. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the Strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. Those pesky barbarians thought that I was gone, right? When the Western Roman Empire is away, then the rats will play. Oh, no. I'm back, boys. I'm back to lead the charge once again. What? One of my daughters are running away. Okay, I give blessings. Go on. Be happy. Live your life. Alright, Antians and Roxolanis are fighting. That's fantastic. I really want that Doomstruck gone, although now I am more or less capable of going after this. What I need is a lot of cavalry. Okay, so some extra danger. I can see Bastarnians and a stack of Huns moving towards Sirmium. I think they will try to go to Sirmium. And this is dangerous because they work in concert. So let's move the northern spy towards the Balkans. Let's see what he reveals. Right, the reason why two enemies in one place is dangerous is that what they will do is one of them is going to go and besiege Sirmium, while the next army is going to able to go through and attack whatever city is behind that. So that's why we will have to put additional troops. Right, the fight with the Garamantians has begun. I'll explain what I will be doing with the Balkans a bit later in detail. So we're fighting near the coast, and while the Garamantians don't have a full stack, because remember we burnt one of their cities of Cymedas, and that had all of their food, right? So then they are going through attrition because they're a land empire. Now of course when the AI plays, then it gets far less attrition than you would as the human player. So their troops are weakened, but they are not to be joked at. And as you can see, there's plenty of cavalry way over there. So we have to be a little cautious. So I'm moving forward one of my scout equities that is quite a fast unit, so it'll be able to get out of danger. Here we can see them slowly walk towards us. This is advantageous because then they appear in a differential fashion. So they don't all appear at the same time trying to outflank me, trying to charge, trying to go for my skirmishers, because that's what they do, because they have a gigantic amount of cavalry. The entire screen is cavalry, as you can see. However, I want to exacerbate this differential movement of theirs. So I'm going to move forward the scout equities so that they are going to go for some foolhardy charges. And if I lose a few troops, I try to avoid it, but that's why I'm going to the side of it, so that my scout equities can throw their projectiles. They have got one javelin, so they can throw that, and they will throw it on the left hand side of this horse unit. So that is still the shield side, but still does quite a bit of damage, especially right now I'm a little behind them, so I'm going to slow the game down a little bit. Okay, here they are coming for us, so right now, okay, we have to move. Their troops are better than us, so their horses are really far superior than anything that we can feel. And on top of that, they have got camels, and camels scare horses. Camel outperform horses in more or less everything except speed. But when you have a large number of camels, then once they catch up with our horses, then it's basically GG. There's nothing we can do. So our scout equities is in a lot of trouble because the enemy Javcav is also coming. This is a desert Javcav, so I don't respect it as much. So I'm going to not send out a rescue party, and I'll try to get my scout equities back in their line on their own. So I went all the way to the coast, but I can clearly see that they could go through this little crack. So I was not prepared for that. So I'm going to pull our desert bowmen back, and they can move 50% faster, so that's what they are doing. Meanwhile, our marines are going to go in and try to intercept that horse unit. They are not going to be very good, but this horse unit is not charging the marine unit, and the marine unit has got projectiles which it can throw at that horse unit, and basically just cause enough chaos so that my projectiles can make a little run for it. There we can see that they are still persisting to go towards our desert bowmen, but our cavalry is present, and I'm going to put my cohorts on defensive testudo. Our desert spears are not going to stand up very well against the fire of their Javcav, as well as whatever raiders and things. They each come with a little bit of ammunition. So I'm not going to try to go for mop-up. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do with the mop-up. So I also have a plan for the mop-up. It's also going to happen in a very thought-forward manner. So the Emperor is now moving forward. This is the first time we are seeing the Emperor in action, and he is going to be brilliant. He's going to be making his men motivated, and he is basically going to show why he is the greatest one out there. So he's gone into into offensive testudo, so that's a mobile testudo, and he's slowly taking up the place of our desert spears, which got
completely annihilated, and they are only standing because A, they are a Roman unit, and second, the emperor is nearby buffing. I'm opening my cohorts into firing their projectiles because the charge has basically that they made is ineffectual at this point. So I'm going to open up the cohorts from their testudo so that they can go and throw their pili. Here I think I make a mistake that I go and charge their horses. I didn't need to do that because I have projectile superiority and my cohorts also have their ammunition. So any charges which this weakened unit would have done would not be good. Right, so I'm moving our projectiles in such a fashion that I can counter fire. So they are firing on the emperor, they are firing on our competency spears as well as our marines. So those units are not taking the fire, the last two especially. I don't want the general and the emperor to get fought at. So I reset the testudo one more time. Our center line is pretty weak at this point, and that's very dangerous because their main infantry line is still moving. So alright, we need to I think we'll need to pull back. There's no point, we won't be able to defend at this point. Our horses have carried the day, so the remnant horses are now running, and I am going to move my cohorts back so that they don't throw their pili at our horses, because our horses are still engaged with the last of their cavalry. So if the cohorts threw their pili, then they would have completely just melted our own horses. So we're moving back and we need to do that because our main strength is our 1 competency spears and 2 cohorts, and we have to protect this marine unit and we have to protect the emperor, because if we lose him at this point, then this entire thing will just fall like a house of cards. Cohorts still have some ammunition. I can't charge their projectiles because their general is clear and present danger, and with these 2 units of very weak units of cavalry, I won't be able to kill their general. I'm still haunted by the fact that we charged that, I think it was Gepid general with more or less a full stack of cavalry, hammer and anvil charge, but they were tired out of their mind and they couldn't do much. Right, so now we are doing our last checks. We are moving the emperor into the gap. Our cohorts are now moving in. I'm moving the other cohorts which is still able to fire some projectiles forward. I'm still keeping my cavalry and keeping an eye on them so that just to make sure that they are not getting shot at. So their general is moving out. I'll have to be a bit careful. So our projectiles are clearly firing from their right hand side. So I think their general is now trying to go for our cohort because our cohort is a bit out of position. So that is actually fortunate because I don't want the general to go after our cavalry. Our cavalry still has a lot of work to do. That gigantic mass of desert bowmen and slingers, that is not something which makes me very happy. So now we're going to swing around. Let's go, boys. So we are going to move our cavalry. Cavalry is coming in, swooping in behind, and our marines have locked in. The general has moved in. Emperor is in, and we are now going to start firing on the back of this gigantic blob. The second cohort unit is not doing very well because it got charged by a full general unit as well as mercenary. I think what are these things called? Desert mercenary defectors, I think Roman defectors or something. Yeah, so they are basically cohorts. So they are equally matched, and on top of that we have the enemy general, which thankfully is not a camel unit, it's a horse unit, but against a cohort, as you can see, they are not doing very well. But it's okay. Our radar and is providing support. Our scout equities is causing enough chaos that none of their projectile units are able to fire. Our projectiles meanwhile are completely decimating their infantry line. So this really good infantry line that they bought and is going to get completely wrecked. Now their general is trying to reposition and he is wavering, so it's just a matter of time that we'll be able to get him. We are continuing to fire. So any moment now. Anyone? There, we got it. We got him. There, we got the Garamantian king. That's the king of the Garamantians is down. Yes. This is what we wanted. Yes. General, so our emperor is doing the mop-up. So that's what I want to talk about, that I want the emperor to go and kill as many people that he can. In this manner, he is going to gain rank faster. Often the general actually doesn't get any kills off, so it's very hard to level up your generals. So therefore I want him to go running, because he's a foot unit, to go and capture, and meanwhile units which are quite far away will be captured by our ubiquitous cavalry. My plan actually was that I would leave this army alive, because then I can have an additional fight with this stack going out against this weakened stack. So that would be 2 fights. But alas, we killed way too much, and there you can see the general and the king of the Garamantians lies dead on the field. And now the last remaining power. So this was the stack of cavalry and very good infantry units and archers, which they inherit when they begin the game. And the Garamantians began the game as passive, so they just sat there in their capital of Garama, refusing to move. But that gave us enough time to go and burn Simidas. It gave us enough time to build up this army of the emperor, who is training units, as we can see. And what we are going to do is we are going to immediately counterattack. So we are going to cancel the recruitment, and we are going to move forward and fortify, because I don't want to get caught out with this weak army, especially not in the open desert against a desert kingdom, because then they get a lot of morale as well as melee attack buffs, and I won't be able to hold any flank. I have like 2 infantry lines as my main line, so I'm going to train 3 competencies. So I'm not, so I don't wait to train 2 competencies, which I would have gotten, but I'm going to train 3 fresh ones, and then I'm going to move towards Garama, but that's in the future. But do stay tuned for that. That's going to be one of the biggest clown college fights that I've ever done. My god, that was exhausting for me. I was really, my god, what was that? That was absolute bottom tier clown college fight that I could have ever fought. But we won it. So yeah, all of that recording is done. So make sure you subscribe and you stay tuned. There is a lot of Total War coming this year. So if you guys were wondering why was I out for a month, so yeah, December is my special time. That's when I have time to plan the Total Wars. Yeah, this requires a lot of fiscal planning, and that's what we did. So December, yeah, so yeah, I was sleeping. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was taking my long 14-hour soul-searching naps. Right, Geats are still loafing around in Colonia Agrippina. You're free to do that, feel free. Tanuchids, Lakhmids, Sassanid empires has still not come at us, and they're getting hit pretty hard by the White Huns. Right, so the Huns are going to mass a oh god, oh my god. 3 armies, 3 full stacks are near Sirmium now. 3 full stacks are near Sirmium. And I have enough armies, but I have to make sure I have a 4th army to guard Domavia, which is right behind Sirmium, because what they will do is one army is going to besiege Sirmium. That is going to open up the path, so every city has a line of control where the enemy cannot enter without entering into a fight. And once you besiege that city, that line of interference disappears, that line of control disappears, and then any enemy troops are able to pass through. So I also have, for example, Bastarnians. So the Bastarnians, what they can do is that they can go and besiege, and then 3 units of the Huns, 3 armies of the Huns can go and hit me at Domavia. So I have to make sure that is protected, Sirmium is protected, Sopinai is protected, and I think Savaria is a bit free because I don't think there is a stack. So we moved forwards against the Alans, but the angles jump us with both armies. A huge amount of dog troops. I am fortified. I think I can win this, but there is no point because if there's so many dog units, if they reach okay, this army is full of horses. Yeah, this is not easy. So if this army is force marching, if I retreat, it won't be able to catch up. If one army comes, I can still take them, but both armies will not come. So that, I hate this because we went and we hired this really expensive mercenary onager, and that cost us 1,000 gold, and we paid 1,000 gold for upkeep. Then I'm paying 1,000 upkeep for this turn, and I'm gonna not pay upkeep for the next turn because I'm gonna fire that onager. Because if these two armies come at Colonia Agrippina, well, you know what time it is. We have seen what we have done to people who came to Colonia Agrippina. These whoever came, right? Civil war. So that's what I'm talking about. Is going to attack, and this is a very dangerous army because there is an X unit which I have no counters for because I have one unit of horse and they have a lot of horses. They have 3 units of horses, and those are much better horses than mine. This is the disposition. I immediately move my horses as far forward because I want them to come for my scout equity. So I move forward, and as soon as I see that they are coming forward, we pull back. So we pull back, and I've got to be very sparing with my ammunition because I don't have that much. I have a lot of things to fight. I have got the general unit. I have got I've got 1 unit of competency spear, so that is as good as my troops. And I have got an axe unit, and I have got 3 units of horses, which I have to deal with this unit of 1 unit of archers and whatever these cohorts. Yeah, horses getting back into the city is really idiotic. But once one of your horses gets inside the gate, then if you see that your unit card is being shown, so the little flag icon above your units, if that is shown to be on the inside of the gate, then any horses which are outside the gate are not attacked by the enemy. So that's why you can see this unit of very powerful Germanic mercenary warband is walking away. And don't walk away from me because you have got Sagittarii aiming and firing at your back. That's what's happening. Now, I don't want this army to stay alive because I will have a lot of public disorder with this one being present. However, if I have to do this fight, then this garrison probably won't be able to fight again very well, because if this army survives, then it is going to get some free units, and if those are very dangerous units, for example, if they get a lot of axes, if they get a lot of cavalry, after this fight I won't be able to hold the city. So priority will be to try to capture and kill to make sure that this army disappears. Now, I'm going to open up the cohorts to throw their projectiles because right now things are very desperate. A lot of their units have moved forward, and therefore I will have to fire as much as I can. Their ladders are moving forward, the siege ladders. There are 3 siege ladders moving currently. One of them is being pushed by Clown College graduates, like the Germanic mercenary hurlers. So yeah, I'm quaking in my boots. I mean, if you climb that wall and you meet up against Roman cavalry or Roman infantry, yeah, GG bro, what are you going to do? But I'm very worried about this X unit. So I have a few options right now. What I can do is try to move my Sagittarii behind the barricade, and then when they try to break open the barricade, then I can completely wreck their faces. But my Sagittarii will take forever to make that run. Meanwhile, it might be possible that I can hold them with my cohort unit, because this X unit is going to absolutely melt my own cohorts, but all this X unit won't be up at the same time. So a few of them will be scaling the wall, and meanwhile I might be able to have numerical superiority at the local point where they are appearing over the walls. I am going to move my scout equities behind their general and open up fire at will, so that he can take some pot shots at the general. It won't cause that much damage, but it is going to weaken him up. The general is alone, however, that is not to be joked at, and right now the general has come in a very dangerous place. He has come basically between my line of retreat with my Sagittarii, so that's very, very dangerous. So my Sagittarii can't get to my barricades, and oh boy, this is very dangerous. So I have to get my cohorts into action, and they have to start fighting against this X unit. They're trying to break down the barricade. If I had the Sagittarii over here on the barricade, then I wouldn't be able to wreck those cavalry from my walls, which was priority, because those cavalry, if they entered the city, then they would be able to run around and basically make circles around me, and I don't want people to make circles around me. It's just not in my interest to get circles drawn around me. So I'm going to move the general, my scout equity is very close to the general, so that he gets enticed and moves away. Meanwhile, our Sagittarii are going to start firing towards the back, because they are going to get into a mobile testudo and slowly walk towards this scout equities that I have presented to them. Okay, so we are winning against their X. They have not yet captured their gates, so that's why, yes, their X's are running. So if they don't capture the gates, then their cavalry are unable to come inside the city, because the gates still belong to me. The gates obey my digital command. And what we are going to do is, now their general is stuck inside the city. He can't reach up to my scout equities. My what's the name of this? Sagittarii are going heavy shot on their backs, and meanwhile we are going to just present a very easy target for the general by moving our scout equities forward, and as soon as he is within 10 to 15 meters of my scout boys, we're going to pull our scouts back. So here a little bit of time got wasted, and then they are able to come very close. This is not what I hoped for. So their X, so a few of my horse boys got entangled, but our cohorts are now fighting their competency spears, and that fight, yeah, they will carry easily. Our garrison commander, so that's a competency spears, is going to simply hold the gate. So we are going under a lot of fire at this point, which is very, very unfortunate, because our towers are trying to fire on the enemy, and what they do is that they basically just fire at us instead of at the enemy, and sometimes at the enemy, but mostly at us. So we are going through a lot of heavy friendly fire. Their general is quite weak, so he won't be able to do much inside the city, because there are lots of towers and he's in a completely hopeless position. I'm going to move my Sagittarii onto the ramparts further away from the general, because then the general will start moving towards the Sagittarii, which will give me space. And then I have an option of either entering the city with my scout equities and going after the general, who is very weak, or I can go with my scout equities and go for a mop up. I really don't want this tower to break where the general is standing under, because that's taking quite a lot of pot shot at my at the general. So that's why I'm trying to move my scout equities forward so that I can. Okay, they have destroyed the gate. No, they have destroyed their own siege tower. That 100 out of 100 was the siege ladder that they bought to the fight. Right, so they did break one of my towers. They're gonna pay for this. That tower costs money and material. So yeah, They're gonna pay for it with their lives. So so we are gonna make them pay right now. As we speak, we are a person of our word, and our Sagittarii is on the ramparts, and it's going to give murderous fire damage, fire arrows against their cavalry. I'm moving my cavalry away because there is I'm not going to suffer this incessant amount of friendly fire from my own towers. It doesn't matter if the enemy is near to your boys or not. It's as soon as there is a friendly tower with a license to fire, it is going to fire at my own people. There, you can see we are completely destroying their horses which are standing by because they are waiting for this competency spear to win this fight against this cohort and open the gates, basically capture the gates. That's never going to happen. Our cohorts are losing momentarily, but they will carry the day. They are losing because they are constantly getting fired by our own towers. Yeah, thanks a lot, Attila. Our scout equities are moving around. I'm constantly checking to see how many people are getting away. I still have quite a lot of strength of my scout equities, like 56 out of 80, but they have got equities Dalmate, which are much more superior to anything that I have in my army right now. So if they come 50, if I have a 2-to-1 advantage, I still wouldn't be doing very well. Right, their general is trying to go and capture that gate with 2 towers. Yeah, good luck with that. That's never going to happen. So their horses have now seen our horses, and now we're going to move them back, move our scout equities back. Hopefully our archers can give some support, and hopefully the towers can also shoot at this cavalry which is running and gunning for our scout equities. I want to maintain as many units as I can. So here it is very difficult for me because I can't enter the city because the general is sitting right at the gates, and I also have to do the mop up, so I don't have the luxury of running away as much as I want. Because I will still have to send my scout equities forward and do a reasonable amount of mop up. I'm going to go to normal shot, and we are going to try to kill off as many as we can. And when you fire normal shot, then you fire faster, although you do lesser damage, and especially if you are firing normal shot against horses, that's no good. You don't get. So let's see the charge. Here goes. Bam! That's a beautiful charge. And this is why I love Attila. I love this game. I love this game. There you can see the towers are firing, and yeah, I'm pretty sure 4 scout equities got completely smoked. The general got killed. I didn't even have time to celebrate, but yeah, you can see how superior their horses are to ours. We carried the day. The civil war is going to be over, and I'm going to try to go for the mop up, make sure nobody leaves the field. Now, Balkan front, very important. We are now going to secure the Balkan front. So what I had to do is I had to spend a lot of time checking the movement range of each and every one of my armies. Then I had to go and calculate what is the minimum strength I would need to protect each place. So at right now, the danger is in Sirmium and Sopinai, because the Huns are near to Sirmium, but they can reach Sopinai. Because if they besiege Sirmium, then they can go to Sopinai, they can go to Domavia in the back, as you can see. So I'll have to defend these 3 points, and I've got 4 armies, so we should be able to do that. While one army will be force marching, probably 2 armies will be demanded to force march, and therefore, so they will be able to not train, and meanwhile some army will be able to train. So this army which went to Domavia will be training units, because we do need to ensure that we have maximum amount of troops. The devil is really at our doorstep right now, and this is no joking matter. 3 stacks of Huns are right now near to the Balkans. We are going to now move our the army which can train in peace is going to be put to Sopinai, and it's going to make a very balanced army, because I want to be able to use these 2 armies, one in Domavia and one in Sopinai, in addition to the garrison and as well as the army which is in Sirmium, to attack and destroy these three stacks of the Huns plus the Bastarnians. Bastarnians probably will just leave because they have enough trouble. Once they leave their homeland, then their public order breaks down. Plus you have a bunch of hordes, Roxolanis and other random tribes. Right. A little bit of management of the faction. We can go for adoption, and I will try to get the highest influence general into my family. And the reason I do that is that I do need to steal some money. We gotta embezzle, so I need people who have a lot of high influence in my faction so that we can go and say, yeah, the money was just simply resting in my account. We'll put one of our family members to marry, because then we can get some nice lady into our faction, and then she can be used to use her charms against any members of our faction or of the other patricians in case they go and begin to have democratic ideals. We don't stand for that over here, boys. We don't stand for slavery, and we don't stand for democracy. That's what the Western Roman Empire is. At Eilidon, we are going to make sure we have enough troops. Ebdanians want peace with us.
We come to you in strength.
They're offering 1,000 gold.
Strength. Reply them.
Yeah, boy.
Welcome.
Go be pirates. Go be pirates next to the Pyrenees Mountains. Go enjoy the scenery. Go for a vacation. You gotta get up way early in the morning to get a peace treaty off of me for 1,000 gold. Visigoths are completely absent faction. They have no power projection at all. Saxons we wanted to go for, but the Angles threw a whole monkey into the wrench. A whole monkey has been thrown in the wrench. So I think the only fight we will have now is either from the Huns. Let's see what they do. Because I don't think they have got, I couldn't see all the unit cards, but I don't think they have got a siege unit that they would be able to attack Sirmium in one go. So they moved their forces quite close to Sopinai and to Sirmium. Yeah, so basically the units where we are preparing ourselves for the coming storm. Eastern Roman Empire is as usual going to do its complete. Yeah, leave it. Yeah, just forget it. Forget it. It's not even my concern. As long as they don't make a gigantic army and try to jump at us at Domavia from their part of the Balkans, then we are fine. Alright, the Bastarnians are moving away. That's good, because then I will have to fight one less faction. Great. Angles are going to come into Colonia Agrippina, but yeah, they don't get up as early in the morning as I do. So that'll be for next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you again for the next one. This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.